Good evening, everybody. It's great to be here once again. It's been a while since I've been on. It's been roughly a week, I think a week or so. Ran into some problems. Had to get a new phone. I mean, after all, this is everyday ministry, isn't it? Every day, man of God ministry. We all got our issues and something going on. So for me, I had to get a new camera. My phone went down. I had to get a new phone. Life is beautiful. And then if you're up in the Northeast, there's a lot of storms going on here. So a lot of shoveling. But I'm happy to be here once again. I wanted to actually talk about COVID-19. You know, I like to do the numbers on those. Usually those who follow me, you'll notice when I'm in the truck, I'll do a quick hit and I'll give a real fast 8 to 10 minute number, the survival rate. But I want to dig a little bit deeper this evening only for the fact that I read an article a few days ago, 2 days ago, something like that. I apologize, I don't know the time frame, but it was quite recent, of how well things are going and all the cases are dropping, and they were really positive about that, even though today was a slight uptick. But they were making it sound great, vaccines are working. My question is, are they? Are Connecticut vaccines working? And I'm hoping that they will, but I know that they don't. Science has told us that, even though science tells us a lot of things. They say it works, but if you follow it, it doesn't always work. So my biggest fear was senior citizens. Now I put together this board because numbers have to be shared. Truth is important. No matter if it hurts someone's feelings, truth is important. Don't let anybody talk you out of that. Truth will always be important. They may hate you at first, but they'll come around in the end. Because being dishonest and lying to someone actually destroys their life further. So I want to look back at October 13th to now, which is February 9th. Has there been a big difference since vaccine? Now, vaccines, I believe, hit Connecticut in December 13th, and I think the first ones were given out on December 14th to a nurse in the Hartford Hospital. So I want to go back to October 13th. I want to look at our cases, and we can see here that 7.34% of our cases on October 13th, well, they led to death. 3.23% of those tests led to cases. Now jump over here to January 13th. 2.96% of cases led to death. That is a beautiful thing. Look at that drop. That's an awesome drop, and that's what we wanted to see. And we knew that we would. Most of us who follow this, and there's a lot more following it now than there were before, we knew that that was going to happen. We knew it was going to plateau and soon go away. Well, at least this round of it. And then we look at the deaths. We went 4,500 here, 4,533 to 6,536 in that 3-month span. Now let's hop over here to February 9th, which is today. So February 9th, now you're looking at the numbers in a much different way. You're seeing a 2.75% led to death, 4.34% led to cases. So we can see there's not a vast difference from here to here, but at least it's decreased rather, and that's good. We want to see it decrease. But we have to look at all the numbers as a whole, because what do people do? They will tell you stats and they'll give you statistics, but then they'll omit certain ones. They'll play it up, so to speak, to make themselves look good. Well, here I want to give numbers to people and let you decide whether it's working or not. Now we look at a total on October 13th, 78.65% of 60 plus survived. And then you look at January 13th, 87.96% of senior citizens over 60 survive. And we get here to February 9th, where it's 88.48% survive. Now numbers have gone up, but I want to point something out here. This is nearly a 1 month, not even a full month. And we're looking at a 0.52 increase? It's a 0.5% increase. You have to look at what's going on over here. Where's the jump? So on October 13th, when you look at the different age groups and deaths, we'll look at the deaths first. So we look at that, we see the percentage of cases, 99.93, so we've gone up. Survival rate January 13th went up. Every category seems to have gone up. You can see it here all the way through, even senior citizens, so 60 to 69 years old, even on October 13th, there was a 92.68% survival rate. So they were surviving even in October 13th. And that's beautiful, that's awesome. And then we see it's 96.52, so now it's gone up. And now we're at 96.75 in this month. So I'm going to go back through these numbers, but I want to jump down to some numbers that I think are omitted. And actually, you really can't find these numbers unless you break them down yourself. And not a lot of people are going to do that because they don't have the time. And I understand that. I'm not mocking anyone or putting anyone down for not having that time, because it is time consuming. You go on there, divide, multiply. Anyways, I'm going to get into how math works. So if we look at from October 13th to January 13th, now that's a 3-month period. There was an average of 667 deaths per month. Now from January 13th to February 19th, this 1 month, and not even a full month yet, 762 deaths. Here's my problem already. They're talking success. They're talking how great it is. Everything's working. This is beautiful. Everything's well. You know, they're really spinning that. Well, the deaths went up. So that's curious. I mean, you make up your own mind. I've made mine up, and I think you can tell by the tone of my voice what I think. So October 13th, we're going to look at cases now. October 13th to January 13th, we had 52,959 cases per month. Now, this last month, and again, not quite a month, nearly a month, 44,032 cases. So yes, the last 30 days, the cases have gone down, haven't they? Well, that's a good thing. But a little concerning if the cases have gone down, but the deaths have gone up. Are they just layovers from previous? Now, there's a reason why I don't have December here. Because from what I understand, and what I've even been told, is you want to see the vaccine kick in. It doesn't kick in 2 days. It doesn't work that way. So you want a good 30 days worth of that vaccine in people to see if there's going to be a decrease, increase. And you want to see better numbers to see where it's going to pan out. And there hasn't been a difference. So the cases have dropped by 8. They'll probably go back up. Now, I will say that I think this is going to go down. And I think it's going to spike a little. It's going to fade. And then we're going to end up with another round. There might be I think there will be a lull. And I think there's going to be another round. And we've already seen the variants. And I wish I made the video on that a long time ago because I saw it coming. And we're going to have worse coming. And that's just plain old biblical. So October 13th, I want to, and this is the percent change. That is always the important thing. What is the percent change in this whole thing? So when you look at October 13th to January 13th, there is a 3.10 per month increase in survival. That means per month, the survival rate went up among senior citizens. And I'm really focusing on that because so does the media. 3.10, so 3.10% increase per month. That's the average. That's good. We're going in the right direction. But in this last month, from January to February, now keep in mind, the vaccine already started in December. Now we're into January. Now we're into February. So 0.5%, 0.52% increase in survival rate. I don't consider that an incredible success. Now, it's a success because the number has gone up. But you see pre-vaccine and you see the numbers already jumping. We are already trending in the right direction. Why after vaccines do we start to all of a sudden, whoa, we're slowing down a little bit? That to me is a little strange. Now, if you watch a previous video, I talked about the deaths and how it got funny in Connecticut because they went from 1 to 2, back to 1, stayed at 1, now in February we're in 2 again. Same thing happened 10 to 19. It was 1, it was 2, it was 1, and then all of a sudden we're at 3. Numbers don't make sense. And again, 20 and 29, same thing, that was 4. And then it was 6 in December, then January is 7. Now, that actually went down, and then that one went up again. Why? People's lives, and I've said this before in another video, people's lives shouldn't come down to, it's a clerical error. That's terrible. People's lives were clerical errors to some people. So we look at the percentage change on each one of them. Now, 99.93, now January 13th. Now we look at the young ages, now we've changed. 99.99, 99.99, and 99.98. Then you look over here in February, we've dipped down to 99.98, 99.98, and this stayed the same at 99.98. That's not a problem because it's only a little dip. But my problem is I don't think this should have been a dip because I get angry with this sometimes because it's sad to see young lives go. All lives are sad to see go, but when young people pass on, that's sad. They're young, and it's just terrible. I don't have any better words than that, but it's just awful. So let's get back to senior citizens for a second. Now, I want to look at 80 and over because, as we well know, that is usually the largest population of death. So we were at 63.12 survival rate in October for 80 and over. And then on January 13th, we were at 72.16. So it's already jumped up, 9%? Well, I'm rounding off, but roughly 9% jump. So that's a beautiful thing. And then we look at it here. What is the jump right here? So 72.16 to 72.128. But you think that'd be a little higher if these vaccines are so effective. So you look at I can't even do the math, it's point 12, right? Point 12, thank you, I'm talking a lot. Point 12. Point 12. So how successful is that vaccine at that point? I personally am not seeing how effective that actually is. I'm not seeing it because if I look at the numbers, I play them whole. Now somebody's going to say, well, you have to look at the bigger picture. You got to look at the percentages. You got to look at all of the cases, which is funny because some of those same people told me that I was messing around with these percentages and making lives insignificant. Well, I think you make lives insignificant when you consider the people who are living not as important as the ones who passed. So you're not celebrating the ones who are alive, but you want to mourn the ones who are died for as long as possible. Celebrate the living. Mourn the death of those who have passed. But you can celebrate the living and still mourn those who have gone. I've lost people that are close to me in my life. You can do it. So again, we look at these 3 months and we look at the difference. We see the 3-month span here and we see the 1-month span here. We are not seeing it again, like I said before. The reason December's not in there because December to January wouldn't really make too much of a difference in the numbers, and which they don't actually. When I break them down, which I've already broken down in other videos, you'll see that these numbers are very much the same. They're pretty much identical to January 13th. So that 30 days, there wasn't a lot of change from that first vaccine shot to January 13th, percentage-wise. I mean, obviously there were more cases and more deaths, but the percentage-wise was roughly the same. Even the ratio here with the how many deaths out of the cases and tests that lead to cases, roughly the same. My issue is this should be far more drastically different. If they're going to play it up as if it is that much different, then it should be that much different. 3% increase in survival rate per month, 3 months for each month, for 3 months, sorry, I'm stumbling on my words, before the vaccine. After the vaccine, it's 0.5%. To me, that's not success. If the vaccine was made to slow death down, we got a problem. That's a problem. Not concerned about the cases because many of these cases, as we well know, are false. It's already coming out. There's plenty of you. Not only do I know a couple of people in my own tiny little circle, but I've talked to other people who experienced the same thing with a relative or someone they know who went to get a test, decided not to get a test, got a call saying that the test was positive. Problem. So we take all of that And these are a lot of numbers. And every one of these deaths are terrible. Nobody wants to see anyone die. We know at this age level, and if you talk to senior citizens, and I get to talk to a lot of them on a daily basis, they are less fearful than this group is. This 20 to 29 years old, especially 20, 29, even a 30, 40 to 49, then they're, they start getting a little bit, I don't know. But these guys, the most fearful ones, and they're the least affected, I should say. But they're concerned about themselves. I've only met maybe a few that were concerned about seniors. They were concerned more about themselves. My son had a run-in at a store. If you watch some of my old videos, I don't want to rehash it. He had the same run-in. They almost attacked him for not wearing a mask because they didn't want to get sick. They were like in their 20s, and they were going nuts on them. That's just sad. So I want to end this video realizing that this is an amazing thing, that people are getting better. But my concern is this percentage difference, how much more difference is it going to be? And how fast will that be? I'm not a mask guy, and nor will I ever be one. You may wear a mask, I'm not going to insult you for that, but I'm not going to. Because there's no need to do so, in my opinion and in my belief. But I want to get those of you who are Christians out there that are watching this, I'm going to go to some verses you'll recognize. And those who are not Christians, I implore you either, if you have a phone on you, although you're probably watching this on a phone, so I don't know if you can look at a computer or whatever you're going to do, pull it up, a Bible somewhere, or just listen, and that's fine too. So I want to go to the King James Bible because that's pretty much the only one I read. Matthew 10:28. I want to start there, if you give me a second, because it's important to realize, especially for Christians, those of you who saved, that you should not be living in fear of this. So I want to look at Matthew 10 because it just makes no sense. And it's going to get worse. It's going to get far, far worse, trust me. So I'll get to 10. Oh, my fingers can't move fast enough. 10:28. All right, Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body. I mean, we're talking about Satan here, just so you know. But Satan works for all these people who are lying to us. But are not able to kill the soul. See what I'm saying? You can't kill that soul. But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. So Satan's in control trying to take out your body and to take out your soul, to turn you from God. And turn you straight only to science and not God. Just, the reason we have science? God. So let's go to Matthew 13, verse 15. I'll find a page here. I keep licking my fingers just to get the pages. They're so fine. 13, verse 15. So Matthew chapter 13, verse 15. For this people's heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing. Nobody wants to hear the truth sometimes. They want to hear what they hear on Twitch or Twitter or wherever it may be. And their eyes they have closed, because we don't want to see. Lest any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their heart, and should be converted, and I should heal them. See, God can heal you of all things. It is Satan who wants you to believe that you can't be healed. Satan wants you to believe that you have to live in fear. So keep your eyes off of God, keep your eyes on these numbers, and the more focused you are on this, you are less focused on this. It's part of the plan. I want to go to, and this with now Proverbs 10:11. I actually put a bookmark in here. There it is. Chapter 10, verse 11. The mouth, the thing that they're making us cover right now, of a righteous man is a well of life. Don't want them talking. But violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. lot of wicked people on the streets out there. And they're not covering their mouth. And it's okay. Doesn't seem to be an issue. But now the righteous, or those who believe those others are righteous. So if the governor of any state tells Christians who he believes are righteous, religious, crazy people, they need to cover their mouths. See, first it's a cloth, and then all the masks, and 3 masks. Shut the people up. It's not just about the virus. It's about ending you. It's not about putting you only in fear. It's about taking away your freedom. I don't mean freedom of the flag. Freedom of living. The freedom of going about your life every day, doing what you want to do, instead of having the state run. I thank you for tuning into this video. I appreciate it. And there'll be more to come as I'm working on my phone. And like I said, with the new phone, I'm still trying to figure out how to get my YouTube on there so I can upload from the phone as I'm driving around. Because, again, those of you who watch me know that I'm always in the truck. So I appreciate it as always. Don't live in fear. And those of you who have those masks on that say fear, or was a faith over fear, take off those masks, because you're not following that. Yes, I know I'm judging you on that, but it's true. If you had complete faith, would you really be living in fear of a virus that you may not be affected by, even by percentage-wise? You know, I was about to close it up, but hold on a second. I'm thinking about this now. You have to realize 3.5 million people are in Connecticut. Now, I'm just here in Connecticut. I've done numbers on other states, but I really focus here because I live here. 3.5 million people, and we've already had 6 million tests. 3.5 million people, and we've only had 264,000 cases. Oh yeah, I know what you're saying, only. That's still a lot. It certainly is. But out of a whole population, that's quite a lot. Senior citizens, we are at what, 58,000 cases? 58,000 cases on senior citizens 16 over, out of what, 734,000? See, that's what I'm talking about. Do the math, because really it's still at under 1% of senior citizens who die of COVID-19. Now I'll close out. Thank you. I appreciate every time you flick on YouTube, or if you get a notification, and please hit subscribe button. Oh, now it's on like those folks who hit the subscribe or the bell or whatever it is. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to hit the bell here and things like that. I'm not that professional, nor will I probably ever be. I don't want to slick up the videos and stuff up like that. It's not my goal. I just will always be here, who I am, giving you the truth. This truth is not just my truth. This is the truth of your state, your Department of Labor. So these are not biased in any way. Those are just numbers. And my truth that I bring is not my truth that I bring. Right there. God bless. I love you, and have a beautiful day.